How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to the day 10 review of the $24 to $1,000 challenge. Let's have a look at the biggest pots that have been played on this day. I got the first session, which by the way looked like this. We played 4,000 hands before we took a short break, and then 8,000 hands on top. 12-hour stream, very long session. We have 10 jack suited, no, king queen offsuit here. Go forward to the flop, bet 13 cents, get called by 2 spots. Get called again on a turn, and on the river miraculously hit the queen here, the key card. 2 people go all in here. He plays it quite passive with a straight. I only noticed it afterwards, and then I basically get in 200 big blinds with another guy who has queen 9 offsuit and gets punished for his pre-flop play. We take down 600 big blinds. Now this big of a pot, I probably haven't won like that many in the 80,000 hands that I played so far. So pretty happy that this, after 80,000 hands, happened in the end. Here we got the aces, 4-bet against the kings, double suited. Go to a flop, get it in good, and win the pot as well. Nothing spectacular. This is a little bit a more tricky hand, especially in a turn, because you have to think a little bit about your equity. I raise, he calls. I decide to raise him on the flop with the bottom pair and a flush draw. And then on the turn he jams. So I went ahead and called here. The thing is, his jam is going to be either one of those hands. Like, he could slow play 3s and 5s. It's a little bit more unlikely. So he's heavily weighted towards having diamonds. Just 10x of diamonds would make a lot of sense. Having 7-6 of diamonds in particular, ace-4 of diamonds, ace-2 of diamonds. And then also having hearts the majority of the time. The question is, does he have hearts with the pair of eights, or does he not have it with a pair of eights? When he does not have it with a pair of eights, for example, check 9 of hearts, queen jack of hearts, king queen of hearts, we're in very good shape with a pair and a flush draw here, and we're dominating. But when he does have the 8-7 of hearts, we're a dog of about 1 to 4. So I pull up here a tool that's a little bit old school, but it's also very helpful, I think. It's similar to an Equilab, it's called Pokerstars Alts Oracle, and you can look at, okay, what happens when he has either one of those hands. And here I think I chose basically a lot of those hard combinations, and I got rid of some of them. Let's actually do that again and see what we can expect. Here I actually included all the better hard combinations. You can see king 6 of hearts and better, queen 6 of hearts and better, check 8 of hearts and better. So I excluded 10 deuce of hearts, 10 3 of hearts, and those trash suited hands. I even included 3s and 5s, which I think is not fair for me, since he's gonna shove them sometimes on the flop as well, and he's not gonna kind of shift that to the turn nearly as often. Then obviously I included all the diamonds that have me crushed as well, and then 2 combinations, ace deuce and ace 4 of diamonds, which I'm doing fine against. And I think against that range we have 56%. It's probably a little bit less than that realistically, because I might have to cut some of the hard combinations as well. But I think we have an easy call. We only need about roughly 40%. So we shouldn't fold here with a pair and a flush draw. That's basically what you should think about afterwards if you want to evaluate whether you made the right call or not. And not just look at his 8-7 of hearts and think, yeah, that's what he always has it. This is not how you think about poker. Think about his range, and here I think it's quite an easy call. With the ace 3 of hearts, thinking about what he could have. Here we have ace jack 10 9. We're drawing on a 3-bet this time, and flop pretty great in a low SPR of 3, and get it in on the flop with a pair and a flush draw, winning against some weird hand here by Yeti, but he was short, and a set by the 6s and 4s by a fishy player as well. 3-bet the kings. Bet 3-bet all in here on a SPR of 5 in no limit hold'em. I think is still pretty good. I mean, we could try and shift for the turn for non-hearts, and maybe fold even some straightening cards, but decide to shove it on a flop, and in the end he makes the flush. Also, if the flush card comes with this hand, we're gonna have a flush draw added to our king, so we're not gonna fold when that happens anyway. Kings with jack 7 here, isolate, go to the flop, where he bets 2 cents. We're gonna have a call here, and on the turn we bink the king, and then just call the turn, and then shove the river, and we win a huge pot. And that was nice that he actually just bet 2 cents on the flop. Here we got aces against kings, and we get the money in on the turn. He calls, river is a 5, he makes trips, and the pot goes to him. Ace Jack 9, 7 double suited. Pretty okay flop, but we're gonna just check call. Turn nuts. Decide to donk lead out. Get called by 2 spots. Decide to bet the river for $1. Get called by a straight. Because we just have $1 left, by the way. And take it on the pot. Aces and 3s. I have the ace of clubs. I think here I might have been going for it or not. Oh no. That was a call down against... Oh, yeah, I'm on the other hand. I'm calling down with a flush. He has a set and a nut flush blocker. He plays 96, 80, 70 on 50 hands. So he plays every hand. Not ready to fold a check high flush here. And I'm good. And here we got aces. Raise and then get it in on the turn here with 65% of equity heads up, which is very nice. And he, however, takes down the pot on the river as he makes a straight. So this has been the first part of the session. Really easy game. Winning a bunch of EV, winning a bunch of money. 4,000 hands. We played a lot of reg speed here. And then, unfortunately, we played another 8,000 hands. Not that we didn't play that well. You can judge yourself, but we basically very rarely made a good hand. You can also see it when you compare the 4,000 with the 8,000 hands. You know, how many times we won a big pot. Like here, the pots where we win around $2 are almost as many, or like as many as in 8,000 hands. But so here it was just basically extremely card dead, but you can have a look yourself. Gonna add a little bit more here. You can see a couple of more hands because it's 8,000 hands and we played a 12-hour session, so I want to make this a little bit extensive here. Here I would have just shoved in hindsight. I don't know why I bet smaller. Doesn't make too much sense. Just invites draw a little bit more easily. Get the money in the turn, and you know, sometimes when the board pairs in the turn, you're happy that you actually put in more money on the flop. And in low SPR 2, you actually don't want to bet fold anyway, so why bet even a smaller sizing? I'm not sure why I clicked that, but it happened what it happened, right? So that's a small mistake. So here, checked an 8-5 double suited, decided to 3-bet a very loose cutoff, or not that loose actually, but yeah, light 3-bet here. Call a 4-bet, decide to call a flop and shift on turns and make the flush on turn, luckily. Also had a backdoor hard draw, which is kind of relevant. And yeah, lucked out there. Have aces here, got 4-bet, get the money in pre-flop, 3-way. Unfortunately, the guy with check, 10, king wins it all. Here we got a decent hand, got 3-bet by someone out of position. We call in position. So here, even though he leads, I have still an open-ended straight draw and a nut gutter, which I decided to peel here, play some turns and see whether I have some one and done bluffs. On the turn, I decided to check behind with a straight, and on the river, I think this is going to be my weakest hand, so I decided to pot shove as a bluff. Since, yeah, I can easily have, you know, a hand like gutter and top 2. This is my weakest 8. That's not the 10-9 straight. The 10-9 straight I would probably not turn into a bluff. But when I just have a 9-9 straight, I want to turn some of those hands into a bluff. And I don't see like ever having a different hand than this even on the button. So I decided to pot this in a bluff. And he has the best bluff catcher in his entire range. He has middle set from the flop. Yeah, what are you gonna do sometimes? Sometimes you're just gonna run into the top of your opponent's range. But I like my bluff still, and I would always do that again. Especially because I see people overfolding there on the micros. Unless I had reads that he's a station, then I'm just not bluffing. Here, I check raise, get it in with a gutter and flush on 2 overs. Take it down. Come on, you can load it. And here we have, what do we have? That was a bit marginal, it seems. But on the turn, we actually made a really strong hand. Got called in 2 spots again. And on the river, we just give up. But surprisingly, take the pot down with just a king. They both were on a draw. Yeah, we take it down with a king. Awesome. Everyone had a pretty good combo draw, but I had just the mate hand additionally. And ace, queen, 10, 6. We make a pair of 6s, get the money in and a 4-bet pot. Could have maybe folded to the 4-bet, had just some hands. So, wasn't ready to fold it yet versus him. Here, get me in 3-bet, 4-bet, fold. He calls. He cold called already. And on the flop, I think the money just goes in. And we take it down against Queen 10, 10, 9, 3 hearts, also not approved hand. Here we have Queen 10, 9, 8. Decent hand from the button, or on the button. I have just top pair, which seems like a light peel here, with a backdoor flush or backdoor straight draw. And that turn, you know, a very great card. We get it in. And unfortunately, he makes a river flush. Aces, 3-betting again versus under gun, getting 4-bet, and then getting the money in on the flop when he unfortunately has 2 pair. And yeah, however, not really much he can do. We got aces 10-7, 3-bet, get called by 2 spots, and on the flop we decide to check. And then still not fold because we got aces and a nut gut shot, which I'm not ready to fold in SPR 2. And here we get called by 20% hand, which is pretty awesome. King 10-10-6 double suited on the button. Somewhat interesting, I guess. I decided to c-bet fold or c-bet call even because I got a pair of 10s and a gut shot. He just called though. I make a set on the turn, money goes in. He still calls. Takes it down on the flush river. Here I got king, queen, queen, 10, 3 spades. Still a good hand. Pretty decent flop. With an overpair of queens and a king eye flush draw. And some backdoor straight draws against, I think somewhat loose range. It's actually not that loose. So yeah. Maybe somewhat marginal in a high SPR pot like that. But it gets less marginal, obviously, when their check raises get stronger. Aces here against 5s and another hand. Pot is $1. We flop top set, go ahead and bet, get called. We actually have set over set here at this point. Rivers are hard, check, check, he wins. 200 big blinds, it's a bit unfortunate, you know, when they do get these runouts. So definitely not my day on day number 10. Ace king 7-4 double suited. Here goes in on the flop. And unfortunately, he has the king 9 for the flop 2 pair in a low SPR again. King, king, jack 5, flop top set. Go ahead and bet, get raised. Just call, check, he bets, and we check raise all in on a turn with 98% of equity. Take it down. Here we have queen 10 suited, check raise, he calls. Turn, I go ahead and bet. He jams, we call. We have 100% of equity, very nice. Another gift here by our opponent, who really did not do stack off, had to stack off the aces. Here, ace 9-7 deuce double suited. Not the greatest hand, but we flop decent. We make also a decent hand on a turn here, because we have 2 flush draws and a 2 pair. It's better than a straight, and we take it down as we improve. 10s and 4s, we flop a set, check raise all in on a turn. It's a bit, you know, if you're a set over set here, that's just a little bit unfortunate. We also don't block the diamonds and the spades that much with just a 4 spade, so you know, it can be incredibly semi-bluffing, and we beat the ace king with a gutter and something. I mean, he had a very, very strong hand still against the set. He could have also had less equity, but then he could have had us really drunk that too, which would have been a pretty bad outcome. Here, he 7x's the button. I still go ahead and 3-bet big blind versus button and not fold to the jam, of course. He has queens against jacks, pretty much a cooler. Cannot do much here. Don't also see that calling the jacks is an option there at all. It's just a too strong pocket pair versus a button raise, even when it's 7x. I 3-bet the jacks here again, call, flop an overpair. He somehow still jams even though he misses, and he wins the pot and because he improves. Pocket queens, I have pocket aces. We are 3-way to the flop, the pot is already super big. Again, he flops a set. Sometimes it's just not your day. We don't improve. So, this is about it. This is the number of bad beaters you can see. This is the reason why, you know, we didn't get it in so good. They flopped the set a bunch of times in no limit hold'em, unfortunately. Also in PLO, we just didn't get the value hands that we needed. We also ran a bit under EV here with 7 buy-ins, which is not a big deal in PLO. But yeah, over 8,000 hands. I would have expected to just run Not just a bit, but I would say a lot better, and I don't think that's too much to ask. And I think the next 5 days we're going to see a correction in these graphs where I will have a much stronger blue line. I will be getting it in, very good a lot more times when I play like another 25, 30k hands. And yeah, I mean, it cannot always go on like this. Obviously the overall graph, you can find them also on my Discord channel. Which I can just show you quickly. If you join the Discord group, you just have to type !Discord in the channel on Twitch, and then you're gonna basically find my Discord group, where you can also get updates on how, the challenge is going. And you can also get updates on my overall graph in normal PLO, which looks a little bit like this. There's also the challenge back here, as you can see, but I still was not excluding it. And here you can see a proper graph of just PLO 100 of the last 160k hands. There's going to be some more hands coming soon. I'm going to have some more streams on PLO 100, and yeah, obviously the challenge will go on and it will look much better when it comes to just the challenge. So I hope you liked that. Also let me know what you thought of just quickly pulling up Pokerstars Oracle and basically looking at one hand and how equities goes gets constructed in No Limit Hold'em. When you are up against the draw range, and what you should do exactly to determine your equity when you have a hand like Ace-3 of Hearts in that board, and just to find out whether someone has more draws or paired hands or whatever. So yeah, this is the review of day 10. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know also in the comment section below if you have any questions regarding the hands. You can make a timestamp, make a comment, take action, ask me something about a hand if you're unsure, or if you want some more insight of what I was thinking about the hand exactly. If you think one of those spots is unclear to you, just ask me in the comment section below. I will see you on Twitch, when I'm playing PLO 100. Just get the notification there, twitch.tv/AndreasFröhlich. Also, you can follow me on Instagram, same handle over there. And you basically just find all the social media down here in the post. Don't forget to like the video, by the way. It really helps the channel to grow, and it's very important to me. You don't have to, basically sub to me or anything, but if you could like me, like my videos down here on YouTube, that will be very much appreciated. And also sub to the channel if you enjoy the content and want to see more. Thanks for watching today, and see you for the next one.